My journey in New Zealand begins 13 years ago when my father brought four of us here. I'm the oldest in the family and also have three younger sisters here in New Zealand. My mother and two other younger siblings still reside in Pakistan. I use the word brought because we did not have any say in the process of migration. As a matter of fact, we did not want to come here at all. But nonetheless, we came. Hi, my name is Mehvish.
And I'm Seher. We are really sorry that we couldn't be there. We really wanted to. Um, the launch of this book means so much to us, and we just thought we'd give you a little background of how we were involved in this book. Me and my three sisters, we came to New Zealand because the situation at home didn't allow us to be at home for long, and Shakti really helped us in supporting us and giving us a safe house to be there. Um, but this book is for what happens when you leave the safe house. So we realized that the transition from leaving our dad to being in Shakti was very smooth. But when it came to leaving Shakti and being out in the real world, the first few weeks were okay, but long term we really struggled. And we really believe that if we had something like this back then, it would have saved us so much suffering.
For example, this book talks about the housing tips. So when you go out and you're looking for a place, or you're flatting with someone else, what are your residential rights, like in terms of tenancy agreements and things like that. I remember when we got our house, our first rental property, our high school teachers were the guarantor for the property, and we had a party at our place. So the next day, our teachers found out and they called Seher and I both into their office and they said, this is unacceptable and we will be removing our name from the residential agreement that they did. So at that time, we got really scared because we did not know that the contract was on our names and we were paying the rent on time and we had the bond agreement with the landlord straight away. So what we did was we left that property, we left the school, and we moved out to the city. It impacted my younger sisters a lot, and I just hope that if we had this kind of information at that time, things would have been different and we wouldn't have left that house and my sisters would still be studying in the same school.
If we had this book 10 years ago, it would have cut our sufferings short. What I struggled with was making social connections. So if I was to meet somebody new, if they asked me a question, I would either disclose everything about my history, especially the abuse. What usually happened was that I wouldn't hear back from that person or they wouldn't want to be friends. I lost a lot of friends when they found out about my situation because either I was too negative around them or I stopped talking to them because I couldn't relate to them. And we found that because we became so socially isolated, we started to feel yucky inside. There was nothing physically wrong with us. Mentally, we just felt so exhausted, so sad all the time, and that started to affect other areas of our life as well, such as we were kicked out of the university because we were failing papers,
Yeah.
or, or like we would quit our jobs because again we couldn't have built that social support around us. So when we had this idea that we'd have a book where you have all these stories and have questions that the survivors answered, it may help other young people.
Exactly, because I remember, when Seher and I, we both are readers, so we tried to find out if other people were going through the same thing and how were they coping with it. So we would go to the libraries and we would take books out, and we were trying to connect with philosophers and with authors and with poets. But the thing was, they were in completely different era and they were going through a completely different situation. They did not go through domestic violence. They did not know what it is about, what it is like to be a woman of color, going through all these things and surviving in a patriarchal system.
Yeah, and I think we were really confused, but those were the only people that we could connect with. Now we realize that maybe all those philosophers were probably having midlife crisis or existential depression, which is completely different to what we were feeling at that time. But that was the only source of our solace. So I think that this handbook it's excellent.
Is it? Yeah, exactly. I just feel that the next time a person who's feeling the same way that we felt, and who's going through the same
Yeah.
thing when they go into a library. I hope we get into the library first.
Yeah.
So when they go into a library, they can take this out and then they can open it up and see that, you know, yes, there were other people who've gone through it. There are other
Yes.
people who've been in the same situation.
Yes. Yes. You know, and I mean, it's honest. It's not just based on facts or information. It's people like us who've survived it and we've contributed to it. So we really thank Shakti and, you know, Mengzu for letting us be part of this. It was a very exciting project.
Yeah, and congratulations to Shakti Youth Unit
Yes.
for doing this. This is an extremely important milestone.
The Shakti Youth Unit, you guys rock, and we are proud to be part of you guys.
Yeah.
So thank you.
See you.